They have already met with various stakeholders, such as NASPA, Fire. They've met with the Cabinet. And I anticipate that under the guidance of the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who's a point person for the government on this project, that Perez will be having public consultations very shortly. So what I would suggest is that we abide by that and we await that public consultation, because they would be in a much better position to set out and give some detail to the public as to what the project is going to look like and what the details of the project will be. The quantity surveillance St. Kitts, I do not have the name at hand. We did pay that individual some amount of money. I'm really not sure what the amount was. I don't want to give inaccurate information. And as I said, that individual did not produce the work. Legal action is being contemplated. I think instructions have been given to initiate legal actions. And for those who are wondering, this is a quantity surveyor that we had engaged on our hospital project, and who we're waiting on to provide some quantities on the interior space, and who has not delivered. So that has set us back several months on that project, and that matter is being addressed by our legal department. The source markets for tourism, Nevis is not at the moment trying to access any new markets in terms of new geography, new parts of the world. Why? Because we feel that within the existing markets, there is a lot of business that we have not yet been able to access. We take the eastern seaboard of the United States, for example. We're talking about places like Connecticut, Boston. We're talking New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., that whole corridor. There are millions and millions of potential visitors in that corridor. And it's a corridor that we know well. We just need to drill down a bit more. So we feel that we're leaving money on the table. We're leaving people in those jurisdictions. So rather than some who are saying, well, let's go to Timbuktu and see if we can find people in Timbuktu who are willing to come to Nevis. Let's go to India. Let's go to Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. We're saying, no, let's go straight to where we normally go. But rather than the little net that we have out now, let us put a bigger net in the sea. So let us do more of that. One of the demographics that we have ignored over the years is the African-American traveler. There are many, many professional, wealthy African-Americans within that same corridor of the eastern seaboard that we have largely not marketed to. It came to me forcefully because I had a group of persons here recently at the Four Seasons, and they are African-American, Caribbean-American, black people. And they said they loved Nevis, they loved the experience, but they commented that they hardly saw any black people. Other than those working at the establishments, they didn't see any guests who looked like them. And they asked me why. And I believe the answer to that is that we have not made a genuine effort. So I can say today that that is changing, that we are tailoring now marketing efforts towards the African-American market, that we are saying to African-Americans that they too should come to Nevis, that we have a rich history and a lot to offer them, and we have some connections within that grouping that have proven quite helpful thus far. From New York directly to St. Kitts, we think that that is excellent in terms of opening up another avenue, another mode of transportation to get here. And so we want to twin our own efforts with those types of announcements to bring more people in. And so we are doing our very best. Now, to just hark back a point I should have made to Ms. Thompson, to talk about accommodation. We had the argument a lot about more hotels. And everybody says, you know, we need more hotels, more hotels. In fact, there are a lot of us who see development only in terms of hotels. So I have just this morning laid out that we have now a radiologist for the first time. We have CT scan for the first time. We have mammogram for the first time. Some of us don't see that as development. we say we want a hotel. If you don't have a hotel, no matter how many roads you build, no matter how many houses you build, that's not development. And I argue all the time that when we look at our hotel stock in the Federation, most of our hotels, the occupancy annually is only about 60 to 65%. It means that 35 to 40% of the time the hotels are empty. So while you talk about wanting more hotels, the question that I always pose is, how do we fill the rooms that we currently have? Because if we have 40% of our rooms going empty throughout the year, then we don't need more hotels, we need more tourists. We need more guests in those rooms. And we have a situation where during the winter, we don't have rooms, and then during the summer, the rooms are empty. So we have to find a way to stop this talk about low season and off season. The weather here is beautiful all year round. We have to now educate the traveler to the view that you can come to the Caribbean, and more specifically, you can come to the island of Nevis all year round. That what we offer is available to you all year round. And so we are trying to do that. This year, for the first time, the off-season was very short because hotels like Four Seasons had good business up until August. And so we really are seeing an off-season this year, only September, October, because most of the hotels have reopened already and are getting ready now. And I am very, very happy and optimistic because I'm hearing that the bookings are very, very strong for the new season that's coming up. So I think that we just need to work, do better job. We are now investing heavily in digital marketing at the Nevis Tourism Authority because I've said to the team, rather than the old-fashioned way of packing up and taking brochures and banners and what, I'm going to London, going to New York, going to Philly. Now, don't get me wrong, that's important. We have to do some of that. But I think if we can sit at our desk and create content that is interesting, exciting, and then that same money that we would use to travel to London, we take that money and we sponsor that content. Nowadays, these social media tools are so sophisticated, I'm told, that we can decide that this ad here, we're designing it for African Americans in this particular area. Let's say we go to Atlanta, Georgia. Lots of wealthy black people there. We want this to go to them. And you can fix your, I don't know what the language is, but the parameters of your post to target that group. So people in other places may not necessarily see it, but that group is going to see it. So you can now target with great precision the people that you want to target, people that you want to bring home the message to, that this is what is happening in Nevis. So we are spending a bit more on that side. We're changing up how we do things. We're using more technology. But my anticipation is that we are not looking so much for new source markets. We are trying to get more of the existing markets to respond